Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism, and this refugee video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And Anonymous asks, Trump or DeSantis, what are your thoughts? So, I think I've touched on this a little in prior videos on the Trump versus DeSantis thing. You know, who do you want to go with? So so I figure I'd get into it again, expand on it, where we are, where we need to be, where it's going. Um, Look, it's Trump's nomination if he wants it. It's just that simple. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. Not that he shouldn't be the nominee, but he's been off Twitter, he's been off social media now for close to 2 years. Okay, he's been basically parked down in Mar-a-Lago, or for me, up in Mar-a-Lago. Um, During that time, he's still going out, he's doing his campaign events. Okay, but and we're gonna be honest here, like Trump still doesn't get it completely. He doesn't, and his major problem is his own narcissism. Okay, is he wants to be loved by these media types. He wants to be accepted by them because that's the world he lived in. And I think in his heart of hearts and in his mind, he thought he could win these people over, that his successes would win these people over, and it's not. Because what he doesn't understand is, or what he didn't understand, I think he understands it now a little better, is that it's a religion for these people. It's a deity, it's a god. It's, like in my narcissism videos, the narcissist wants to replace God. They want to replace themselves as your God. That's what's going on the other side. And that's what Trump didn't understand. They don't care about proof, and they don't care about their successes. This is a religion for them. This is faith for them. And to attack somebody's faith and to be able to prove somebody's faith wrong is incomprehensible for them. That's why I like some of the endorsement, like Dr. Oz. It's just no, no. Kevin McCarthy. No, what are you doing, dude? Why would you not? Why would you endorse Kevin McCarthy? Why? For Speaker, he shouldn't even be in Congress. We don't need that. See, the Republicans are going to win the House by so much. And this is my point. Why are you keeping these rhino Republicans around? You're better off letting that seat go to a Democrat. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter because you're picking up seats elsewhere. Tons of seats elsewhere. California, for all intents and purposes, is lost, even though, look, even though, they recall Chesa Boudin, the Soros DA, okay, the son of the Radical Underground, Weather Underground network. Okay, even though they recalled him because shit is so out of control, even the liberals, okay, can't take it anymore. What do you think? Who do you think they're going to replace him with? It's just going to be another left-wing lunatic, maybe just a little less crazy than him. It's not going to change things. And saving and making Kevin McCarthy Speaker, or endorsing him for Speaker and endorsing him for Congress. No, you don't even need the seat. Let it go to a Democrat. Let it go. You're not saving it. A lot of Trump's hiring decisions were horrible, starting with Jeff Sessions. The worst hire he made was still Jeff Sessions. Second worst is his son-in-law and his daughter. Without Jeff Sessions recusing himself, none of this happens. All the media could have done was screamed and squawked and yelled without Sessions getting out of the way for Rosenstein, for Mueller, to let these guys loose. And he's still making some bad choices. Some bad choices. And my fear, he's going to go in and he's going to be harping on 2020. And yeah, we all know what happened. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Yeah, Joe Biden won on 81 million votes. But and we know election integrity is important. It is absolutely important. Absolutely important. And some states seem to do something about it. Other states, no. And to answer another question, no, I haven't seen 2000 Mules. No, I'm not going to watch 2000 Mules. Why? Because I'm not learning anything I didn't already know in that movie. We already knew it. So why am I going to watch it just to be annoyed again? You're not convincing anybody who doesn't already believe it. Maybe a few. Anybody who's going to be convinced by 2000 Mules isn't going to be convinced because you forced them to watch it. They're not. They have to. You can lead them to water. You can't make them drink it. They got to find the water. You got to find the water yourself. So all you're going to do is aggravate yourself. We know what happened. Joe Biden got 81 million votes, more than any. Absolutely 100%. So why are you going to watch it? We already know what happened. And him harping, I was right about gas prices and I was right about inflation. We know. They know. They know at this point. They know at this point. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? I talked in my last video about the FBI, about the DOJ. What are you going to do about it? You can't fire federal employees. You can't do it. It takes too long. It's too much of a process. That's why it's called a bureaucracy. That's why they're called apparatchiks. The only thing you can do with them is take all their responsibilities away and pay them every dime that they were agreed to pay through their however federal employees, once they have vested or tenure or whatever it's called. You have to do it. Because what's it going to cost to try to get rid of these people? What's the process? The time? No. Burp. Gone. You had anything to do with any of these fucked up investigations? Gone. Go watch the paid try. Gone. You had anything to do with having any knowledge of any of these mass shooters? Gone. Anything to do with Mueller? Gone. Hillary Clinton? Gone. On film kneeling? Gone. What's your plan to fix it? What are you going to do? What are you going to ask to be done with the Democrats once the Republicans assume power? And Trump's the leader of the party. So the fact that he's not on the ballot in 2022, that he has no say, no. You're the leader of the party. Lead the fucking party. Are you going to allow all these Democrats, because Liz Cheney and Kinzer are out of Congress. They're gone. You censure them, embarrass them. I haven't heard them say they're going to do anything like that. But what do you do with all these dishonest communist Democrats that are on the panel? What do you do with them? What do you do with them? Do you hear anybody saying, once we assume power, not one of you will sit on another committee? Just like you did to Marjorie Taylor Greene to have her kicked off of all your committees, every single one of you, it will never serve on another committee again. Not while we're in power. Not while we're in power. Not while we're in power. You hear anybody saying that? You hear anybody taking the lead? Shit. When George Bush lost the House in, what was that? 2006. All they talked about for two was impeaching Bush. Wasn't until after they took the House and Nancy Pelosi, no, we're not impeaching anybody. Do you hear any Republicans talking seriously about a move to impeach Biden, to impeach Harris for? No. Nothing. These federal judges who are out of control, federal judges who are giving lifetime appointments. It's not just the Supreme Court that gets lifetime appointments, people. It's all federal judges. Lifetime appointments. You think about that, decided by 100 people, 100 senators decide, and the majority decides whether or not you get to have a federal judgeship for the rest of your life. And you think that these senators are putting any judge on there that's gonna hinder their problem? I'm talking like in the DC circuit anyway. Because you can't exert that much control in a constitutional republic right now where you can control every judge in every sector of the country. No, but they sure got DC on lock, don't they? And New York on lock, don't they? Because it doesn't matter where because everything goes through DC. Everything goes through DC. So they're not putting anybody on a DC circuit that's gonna circumvent any of their behavior in Washington. And again, this is where Republicans are losers, because Republicans are having a fight, trying to make sure that DC doesn't become the 51st state. Well, do you know how you avoid DC from becoming the 51st state that nobody talks about? You break DC up. There's no reason why all our government has to be in 2022 all in one little city. You scatter it. Okay? So that way they don't control they don't control one sector in a federal district. You scatter it all around the country into places where they have minimal effect, because that's what the federal government is supposed to have. Is they're supposed to be in the background of a minimal effect. Go send the DOJ out to the middle of Nebraska. Go send commerce to Ohio. Go put the Supreme Court down here in Florida. Or maybe you put commerce in Texas or in Florida. You see what I'm saying? Do you hear any plans for this? And this is stuff that Trump, the businessman, should be spearheading. And what about those federal judges that keep making just delegating Democrat communist talking points and Democrat agenda from the bench? What do you do with them? Do you hear about anybody stepping forward and saying we got to impeach some federal judges? Whether or not you're actually going to get it through the Senate is meaningless. They run Trump through 2 impeachments, and now in January, this is his 3rd impeachment. Oh, well, we got the moral high ground. You got the moral jack shit. Because I'll tell you the one thing that federal judges and most federal employees don't want. They don't like to be questioned. And they sure as hell don't like to be exposed and be held accountable for their actions. All you need to do is drag one. Just drag one through an impeachment hearing and put him through the impeachment trial. And expose them. No plans. No plans. Because Trump won't let 2020 go. And in a way he can't, because you can't, even though he did lose in 81 million votes, yada, yada, yada. Election integrity is important because Republicans will definitely try to steal this one. Like they did in 2016. So from what I'm saying, you would think like, okay, so obviously DeSantis is the guy. No, he is not. I'm not saying he couldn't be the guy if Trump wasn't. See, first off, Florida is too important right now to the rest of the country, to old America, whatever, constitutional America, because this is it. I mean, as far as sticking to American values and Western values and constitutional republic values, okay, Florida is it. We're better than Texas, okay. Abbott is wishy-washy. Like, this is it. And that is all being driven by DeSantis. And DeSantis learned from Trump, okay, how to stand up without being exactly Trump. See, DeSantis is a more polished Trump with political chops and understanding. And you can't blow smoke up DeSantis' ass. You can't. And look, Trump was a good president. For his faults, and he had many, he was a good president. I know personally, I had never more successful the last four years under Trump than I had been in a very, very, very long time. Gas was reasonable. The world was going into peace mode. I mean, you see these people asked if Trump was still in charge, would we even be in a war with Ukraine? No, probably not. No. And putting Trump and DeSantis on the same ticket, that's a waste. It's just a waste, because there is no more useless position in the United States government than Vice President of the United States, unless you get a situation like Kamala where it's a 50-50 Senate and she's the tiebreak. But even with that, she don't have enough Democrats sometimes for it to even matter. That is a waste of making DeSantis that is the biggest waste of his talent. No. DeSantis can lead from Florida. Trump is strong enough. He's got good enough chops. He has good enough where he could be kept on point by DeSantis from Florida, not by DeSantis, battling it out, and just by DeSantis leading. Trump's smart enough to know he doesn't really want to go head to head with DeSantis because he's too valuable to the party. But what my original point was, getting back to how I started this, where I didn't think it was a good thing for Trump to get the nomination unopposed, because he needs to sharpen his chops. He needs to understand, because he's like, Truth is starting to go a little bit now. It's not a bad platform. Okay, it's still not functional like Twitter is. But he's still sometimes missing where his people are on a lot of things, like, Dr. Oz and McCarthy and other things, frankly, that I won't repeat on the channel. But he needs some kind of primary. He needs some kind of primary from someone. But it shouldn't be DeSantis. Shouldn't be DeSantis. Shouldn't be. No. I don't want DeSantis losing to Trump. It's just no. And I don't think that would happen. Because again, to me, and selfishly, DeSantis is leading the conservative movement. DeSantis is leading the anti-communist movement. DeSantis knows how the game is played. He knows how to go on offense. Look what he did to Disney. He broke them. He broke Disney so hard that most of these corporations are staying out of the abortion thing. Staying out of the abortion, they're not. Why? That's because of Ron DeSantis and what he did to Disney. Even when he had them down, he's like, no, finish them now. And that's exactly what he did. And DeSantis isn't somebody who looks for credit either. Trump needs that. He needs it. Yes, he needs it. Fine. It's a personality flaw. It's his own narcissism. He needs it. Trump can lead. He can keep Trump on message just by legislating. He doesn't have to go out and say, no, John Lee is wrong and he's an idiot. He doesn't need to do that. Say, this is what we're doing in Florida. And I don't see Trump trying to get into lock horns with DeSantis. Not because he's necessarily afraid of DeSantis, is he knows how valuable he is. And I do believe he does respect DeSantis a lot. How could you not? And the other thing, like I said, what I was getting to is then who replaces DeSantis? Now, say DeSantis did run against Trump and beat him. Okay. Now, if Trump doesn't run, okay, then it's DeSantis all the way. Obviously, that's only if Trump doesn't run, but I don't see that happening. So who replaces DeSantis? To me, in my opinion, there's only one guy to replace DeSantis, and that's Matt Gaetz. But Matt Gaetz isn't ready to be governor yet. Okay, he hasn't been in Congress that long. He's a pretty young guy. Okay, and you give, Trump wins the presidency. DeSantis obviously going to win Florida big in 2022. Okay, then you got DeSantis 2024, and then Matt Gaetz can slip into Florida. Okay, get some more experience, get some legislative experience, and boom. That's how I see it. That's what I want. That's my scenario. Okay, DeSantis is just too freaking important to Florida, and Florida, quite honestly, is just too important to the Republic right now. It just is. I don't mean to sound like an ass about it, but it just is. It's just the way it is. As shitty as the economy is, and things are getting with the gas here, people are still coming here in fucking droves. It's a rush to get here. These gated communities, I work a lot, mostly gated communities. Okay, with their own security and their own armed security and their own little worlds back there. Well, okay, most of them have multiple golf courses. Well, a lot of them, they're closing one or two of the golf courses just to build more houses because there's that kind of demand. And then the one community, it's not even like, oh, well, we're going to build in it. They're already sold. The plot, it's already plotted. It's still a golf course. But the houses are already drawn out. The property, the name, boom, and they're already selling them. Crazy. Florida is too important to the Republic. We're for anybody who's seen Barbed Wire, we're Steel Pier, you know. Charlene loves that movie. Pam Anderson is just the last bastion of the Republic. And, you know, Trump was a good president. He was. Now, I don't think he's going to be taking his idiot son-in-law and daughter back to the White House anytime soon. Okay? And, you know, who do you have running? Who do you have run with them? It's a good question. It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I would make John Ratcliffe FBI director, though. That's for damn sure. But you know, he's got to start. He's got to start taking the reins now. It's got to be more than now just pointing out the economy's bad and Joe Biden shits himself or whatever it is. Okay, how are you going to fix it this time? What are you going to do about the DOJ? What are you going to do about oil? What are you going to do about Keystone? What are you going to do? What are you going to do about these out of control prosecutors? What are you going to do? And I'll say this. Trump is the last hurrah of the baby boomers. And DeSantis is the rise of Gen X. And as a generation, we got to be smart. And this is the thing with DeSantis I wish he would do. He should be talking directly to Gen X because he's one of us. And again, you know, once again, Gen X, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody mentions us. That's it. And the problem is, the second we get power away from the last baby boomer who's clutching to it with their skeletal hands, at that very moment you can fucking bet that the millennials will start crying, where's our power? They'll be whining for it then. DeSantis's time is 2028. I think I said 2028. DeSantis' time is 2028. Period. And if Trump was smart, and there's already chatter about this, which is what I told you right when it was clear that, you know, shit was going to go down, how it was going to go down after the election. I told you the only way Trump gets back into the White House before 2024 if he runs for speaker. They impeach Biden and Harris and they come. If Trump is serious and he wants to get his political chops, okay, he should absolutely take Speaker of the House. I don't know why you're endorsing Kevin McCarthy, dude. You should be the Speaker of the House as the leader of the party. Period. So, thank you, Anonymous, for the contribution and the topic. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions in the comment section below. And if you want to get a story on the channel, you have something political you want me to cover, you want to sponsor something for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or you just want to make a contribution to the channel in general, keep it supported, growing, and hopefully successful again, you know what to do with the PayPal, the Zelle now, and PayPal links in the description box. And I hope to hear from you soon. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care, everybody.